Welcome back to the PokerLessons.net special three-part series on the basics of Texas Hold'em. PokerLessons.net combines easy-to-use flash tutorials along with actual internet play that will put you on the fast track to becoming a consistent and feared opponent at the poker tables. In this section 3 of three-part series, we will be covering the basics of table position and what happens when a player is all in and two other players are still in the pot. Let's get started by clicking on the Resources tab in the upper right-hand corner of the Poker Lessons Reader. Now click on the Positions button. Table position refers to where you are seated on the table in relation to the dealer button. Play always goes clockwise, so the position you are in determines what order players act in, which has a big effect on the decisions you will make. Let's start with the early position. Early position is the first three seats to the left of the blinds. These are the first people to act after the cards have been dealt. Next, we have the people in the mid position, which are the two people after the early position. Then we have the late position, which is the last three people, the last person being the player with the dealer button. And don't forget about the blinds. These are the players who put in the small blind and the big blind. These two players are to the left of the dealer. The best position to be in is late position. The reason is that you get to see everyone else act first before we have to make our decisions. This means you will have more information that will help you make the right decisions. Remember, the later you have to act, the fewer people there are to act after you. So this limits the chances that a person still to act after us is holding a strong hand. Let's have a quick look at table position and the difference between playing late position and playing early position. You have a marginal hand, a 3-3, and are in late position. The play is to you and nobody has raised the pot yet. You may be considering playing this hand in this situation. But if a player in early position raises, then you'll more than likely fold your hand. Compare this to holding the same hand in early position. You have now got to make the decision on whether to play or not before you see other people's actions, which could lead you to putting chips in to play the hand and a player in later position raising and forcing you to fold your hand. Can you see the difference? In both situations, you have folded your hand, but when in late position, you have done so without committing any chips into the pot, whereas in early position, it has cost you to fold your hand. Let's now discuss what a side pot is and how it works. Mike has hit a set of aces, and he's pushed all his chips in the middle. Keith has Mike covered and calls his bet, and then re-raises, all in as well. Matt decides to call. Now the pot is separated. The black and blue pot on the left is between Mike, Keith, and Matt, while the red and green one on the right is between Keith and Matt only. The reason for this is Keith and Matt both had more chips than Mike. Mike went all in and Keith called it. Keith still had more chips, so he raised Matt. Matt had enough to cover both bets, so he called. Assuming Mike bet 100, Keith and Matt would put 100 each into a pot that Mike could win. Anything else goes into a side pot, available only to those that can afford to keep betting. Mike has the best hand with trips. Keith has the second best hand with two pair. Mike can only win what is in the pile on the left because he went all in and didn't have enough money to call Keith's raise. Since Keith has the better hand between himself and Matt, Keith would win the side pot. Mike is not eligible for the side pot because he didn't put any money into it. Matt is now out of the game for calling all in when the odds were against him. However, if Keith had the best hand, he would take both pots and eliminate Matt and Mike from the game. Basically, you can only win a pot you have put money on. If you do not enter into the side pot, the people who have run out of chips before the side pot will not be eligible for it.